I've been a cop for 30 years, and I still can't shake the sound of footsteps behind you at night. In the city, we learn fast. Those footsteps can mean robbery, rape, or worse. But in a quiet little working-class town like Lakeside, people never learned that lesson. They stayed trusting. That trust cost an 18-year-old girl her life. It was in October 2002. A call came into the county sheriff's office, a body floating in Clearwater Pond just outside Lakeside. When my team pulled up, the first thing we saw was a young girl's body. She couldn't have been more than 16 at first glance. Her face and body were destroyed, beaten, cut, broken. The medical examiner told us the nightmare in order. She was raped, tortured for hours, strangled unconscious, then thrown into the water to drown. We all thought the same thing. This wasn't just a killer. This was a monster. Her name was Natalie Harper, 18 years old, sweet, quiet, homebody. She'd just finished technical school and was planning to start college in the fall. Her mother had already filed a missing person report. When we told the family, the whole house fell apart. Her father ended up in the hospital. Her mother lost most of her hearing from the shock and has worn hearing aids ever since. That night, we pieced together Natalie's last hours. She'd gone to Riverton, the county seat, with 2 girlfriends for a concert and some dancing. They took a cab home to Lakeside, laughed a little more on the street, then split up. Natalie only had a couple hundred yards left to her front door. That's when the footsteps started behind her. We searched every yard, every alley. We found pieces of her clothing near the spot she was attacked, but the body had been carried 3 full miles to the pond. My first thought? The cab driver. Easy access, waited, followed her. We pulled him in fast. He swore he'd dropped the girls and drove straight back to the bus station in Riverton. Other drivers backed him up. His car was clean. No evidence. We started checking every registered sex offender in the county. Then word came from the big city nearby, Springfield. They had a string of identical attacks. Same M.O., same brutality. Suddenly, we were looking at a possible serial predator working both the small town and the city. The whole county held its breath. In Springfield, a college student named Lexi Shaw stepped out for cigarettes. A man passed her, then spun around in an alley, knife in her face. "Move, and I'll cut you." He sliced her coat, dragged her toward a fence, started ripping her clothes. Lexi kept her head. She told him, "Come back to my apartment. Nobody's home. We can do whatever you want." The man believed her. She walked him to her house, where her parents were also present. She whispered something to her mother, and a few minutes later, the police poured in. They cuffed him and started driving him downtown. Then, at the intersection of Oak and Main, a bus swerved, flipped, and chaos erupted. The officers jumped out to help the injured. The prisoner slipped out the door and vanished. We put every precinct on alert. He was gone. Back in Lakeside, the pressure was crushing. Women were terrified to walk alone after dark. Husbands met their wives at the door. Patrols ran every hour. One night, we got a frantic call, screams in a backyard. Officers arrived just in time to see a big man beating a woman to the ground. He vaulted a fence and disappeared into the garages. We surrounded the block. A neighbor ran up. "Somebody just broke into my garage." We stormed it. Inside was a wild-eyed man ranting about the end of the world. We thought we had our monster, until the next morning when the same woman showed up at the station begging us to let him go. It was her husband. Mike Thompson, chronic drunk. He'd just snapped in a blackout. Another dead end. The real predator was still out there. A few weeks later, a second woman finally came forward in Lakeside. Samantha Reed had been attacked in broad daylight inside a working women's dorm. 2 men knocked. One left. The other forced his way in, slammed her against the wall, raped her while she screamed. Nobody on the floor heard a thing. She was too scared and ashamed to report it right away. Her husband told her to forget it, but one day she couldn't carry the secret anymore. Samantha sat with our sketch artists and then with the photo database for hours. Suddenly she pointed. That's him. No hesitation. The face that had haunted her belonged to Alex Stevens. 26, repeat offender, strong as an ox, lived sometimes with his mother in Lakeside, sometimes in Riverton. We rolled on both addresses. He was already gone. Alex Stevens had told people he was heading to Canada, family on his father's side. Then we got a break. He'd shown up at his aunt's job begging for cash. She said no. He stole her purse, money, credit cards, everything. He was running. We learned he had a cell phone. It was off, but the carrier pinged us. Just an hour earlier, he'd bought a brand new number. He was trying to disappear. We set the trap. The carrier called him. You forgot to sign the contract. Can you swing by the store? He took the bait. I was leading the team that day on Union Street, right outside the phone store. A man matching Alex's description walked up, started buying snacks like he had all the time in the world. My undercover guy gave the signal. 2 of us came in from each side the second he reached for his wallet. He never even got his hands up. At the station, he stonewalled. Classic career criminal. But our lead investigator, Detective Lisa Parker, sat across from him for hours. She didn't yell. She just talked. And eventually, he broke. Alex Stevens told us everything in a voice so calm, it gave me chills. He'd been walking Lakeside that night, looking for someone. Anyone. Saw the cab drop off 3 girls. Picked the prettiest one, Natalie. Followed her in silence. When she was alone, he clamped a hand over her mouth, dragged her into the bushes, raped her. Then he carried her unconscious body 3 miles to the pond. He beat her face until it was unrecognizable before he dropped her in the water. He couldn't explain why. His own mother later told us the women in his life had driven him to it. His wife left. His girlfriend left. But we knew the truth. The violence and rage were already inside him. That's why they left. Alex Stevens was convicted of murder and multiple sexual assaults. The judge gave him 18 years in maximum security prison. Natalie's family and the other victims sat in court, shaking their heads. We thought he'd never get out. Her sister told me later, he looked at her father and said, when I walk out of here, I'll do it all again. 18 years is a long time to sit behind razor wire and think about what you've done. I hope he uses every single day, because I still hear those footsteps in my head every night. And I know there are monsters out there who haven't been caught yet. And now, as promised, the truth. The events took place on September 1st, 2007. The real location was the settlement of Lenevo in the Zhernovsky district of the Volgograd region, Russia. The body was found in the Segaevsky Pond. The real killer's full name was Alexei Staroshenko. He was born in 1981. He was indeed sentenced to 18 years of imprisonment in a strict regime penal colony. And that sentence came to an end in 2025. Everything else you heard tonight happened exactly as I described. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the channel and don't miss the next episodes. If you got a story like this in your town, call the police. Don't wait. Don't stay silent. Because the next set of footsteps might be coming for someone you love.